Yes, guys.
We're the F2.
And I'm Jermaine Genus. Watch as we show you how to better determine sporting results using facts, stats and science to prove once again that luck is no coincidence.
This episode is about game changers, those big moments that unexpectedly alter the course of a match.
We're looking at cliches around the biggest game changer of all, goals. Yes!
And the effect of one of the other great game changers, the red card.
Top Bins loved it!
One of my favourite things about football is its unpredictability. When that whistle blows, you aren't really sure what's going to happen. Despite all the surprises, there are things that happen in every single game which help shape our expectations.
Red cards and goals are game changers because they disrupt the regular patterns of play we're used to seeing in every match. These patterns and shapes give football its unique beauty, and they also make football perhaps the most mathematical of all sports.
The first pattern that I always come back to is triangles. You can't play football without triangles. You have an opportunity where you pass one player up to the other and you can move through passing in that direction, or you want to move into a space, so you have this pass and move. So the basic structure of the game is finding nice triangles.
It is a sort of a beauty in the geometry, in the collective synchronized movement that you see from these teams that is unlike any other sport.
Barcelona make the most beautiful patterns in modern football. They just make the loveliest triangles, especially the team from 2010-11. They just created a new style of passing. All of this tiki-taka work was just something that wasn't seen before.
If you're getting 75% possession, you're a team who's really, really good on the ball. Yeah, you're really good at keeping the ball. Are you creating chances with it? Well, not necessarily. You probably will, because the opposition will probably get worn out and there'll be an attritional process there.
Barcelona, as good as they have been over many years, when Messi was injured, they weren't the same team. So special players, do special things on a football pitch.
Of course, Messi was an incredible player, but without Xavi and Iniesta around him, he couldn't have achieved what he did.
For me, the beauty of football is seeing a team play as a team and function as a team, where it's not just 11 players, everyone playing their own game, but the whole team moving in unison. I think we've had very few teams who've actually been able to do that.
You just feel like everything comes together, really. The fans are there, the team is playing well, and it's just like when the game is over after 90 minutes, you would have loved to just carry on because it was just one of these days. Just a fantastic experience.
Then you've got your defending game, and that's about pressing. There's actually a mathematical rule there. It's called the 5-second rule. It was Pep Guardiola that came up with it first, that if you don't get 2 players into press within 5 seconds, then you probably won't get the ball back. So it's really about getting those players in there directly before the ball moves into a counter-attack.
Football is very random, but when it becomes a collective effort and a collective artwork in a way, that's when it takes my breath away personally.
The biggest game changer in football is obviously the goal. There are so many cliches, theories and ideas around goals and goal scoring that it's hard to know which are fact and which are fiction. To find out, we've prepared a test involving our friends from across the series to see who really knows the most about scoring goals.
Teams are more vulnerable to conceding immediately after scoring.
Is that true or false?
It's got to be true, Bill.
True.
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 That's definitely false.
I reckon it's true.
That's false.
The time in between goals tend to be random.
This one is false. In fact, the opposite is true. The stats show that a team that has just scored is actually less likely to concede in the 5 minutes immediately after a goal than any other 5-minute period in the match.
2-0 is the most dangerous scoreline in football.
True or false?
A lot of teams go, well, you know what, we've got a 2-0 lead now and we can relax a little bit. Nonsense.
I think it's true, Jace. 2-0 is proper dangerous.
Proper dangerous.
Lethal.
You can hurt yourself.
I think it's the most intriguing. I don't think it's the most dangerous.
It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard.
I won't go near 2-0, mate, because it is dangerous.
Teams with a 2-0 lead will go on to win 90% of the time in the English Premier League and 95% of the time in La Liga.
Oh, I'm not doing so well here.
Goals change games.
True or false?
That's true.
True.
Well, obviously.
What do you think, Jez?
Changes the score, at the very least.
0-0, goal goes in, 1-0, game's still the same, isn't it?
Same.
Does the pattern of play change after a goal?
Yes, absolutely, they do change games.
It's true. Goals do change games. The biggest change is in the number of shots both teams have. Teams that fall behind take more shots, and teams that take the lead take fewer shots. And this affects the chance of more goals being scored.
You don't want to score too early in a game.
True or false?
That's rubbish.
False.
And the idea is to get yourself ahead and then adjust how you want to play from there.
We played Dundee in the Cup and scored in 13 seconds. Magnificent. I'll take it every time.
Scoring is always good, but it's true that scoring early can be dangerous. If a team scores their first goal in the opening 15 minutes of a game, there's a 47% chance that they'll go on to win it. But if the first goal comes after 60 minutes, their chance of winning goes up to 88%.
A goal before half-time is the perfect time to score.
True or false?
It doesn't matter.
False.
I'm not sure about this one, Bill. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to score.
Puts a whole new spin on the team talk that the manager's going to give you at half-time.
But then the gaffer's got time to give his team talk.
Get the confidence and it could be a big blow for the opponent.
You go in at half-time, strategise.
Irrelevant to me.
The answer to this one is false. There's no evidence at all that scoring just before half-time is more valuable than scoring at any other time in the match.
Jez, you know what I'm thinking?
This game needs a goal.
True or false?
True. Not always.
If you're away at the European leg and you need a point, does it need a goal? Probably not. So it depends very much on the situation.
This depends whether you enjoy a goalless draw or not. 7% of games finish 0-0, and if a game is 0-0 at half-time, there is a 26% chance it will end goalless.
There's a perfect time to score.
True or false?
Well, it's the last kick of the game.
The last kick of the game.
The last minute.
Well, if it's a winning goal with 30 seconds to go, yeah, that's the perfect time.
There is a perfect time to score, if it's the goal that gives the team the lead. In this case, the later in the game it happens, the more likely the scoring team will go on to win.
What is the most common scoreline in football?
That's a good question, Jez. What do you think?
Not sure. Maybe 0-0?
1-0?
1-0.
1-0.
2-1?
2-2?
3-3?
I'd say 2-1.
2-1.
5-0?
5-2?
4-1?
7-3.
So I'm going to say 3-1.
Keep it low. Keep it low.
The most common scoreline in football is 1-0, closely followed by 2-1.
Is it?
Come on, you lot should know that.
I've got one right, haven't I?
You've got a couple right.
Oh, that's all right. Better than nothing, isn't it?
Really? He said that? Danny Higginbottom said that, did he? We know goals are massive game changers, but I want to test the other big game changer, red cards, and how it impacts the players and the matches. Don't you dare. The traditional thinking is that it's harder for the team with only 10 men left on the pitch. But is this really true? Or is it actually harder to play against a team of 10 men? In this experiment, we're going to measure a series of key metrics to explore what really happens when a team is given a red card. Both teams look like they're massively up for it, by the way. Some serious tackles flying in. What the players don't know is that the referee at some point is going to be sending one of them off for a relatively soft challenge. It's going to be very interesting to see how both teams react.
Come on, lads! The two biggest decisions a referee takes, in my view, are penalties and red cards.
There's so many different facets of just the red card being given out. If you've got 40 minutes to go, or if you've only got 10 minutes to go and you're leading or you're losing, will have a massive, massive impact on the manager and how your team's set up and how the players will play.
What is it? Oh! After 45 minutes of 11 versus 11, the score is 1-1. And despite a few spicy challenges, the referee has kept his red card firmly in his pocket. But it won't last for long. "61 minutes in and disaster for the team in black. With half an hour still to play, how will they cope?"
Once a team goes down to 10, they almost like to feel a sense of injustice, that you were wrong, that it's been unfair, the world's against us, and therefore we need to rally together and make sure we do it for the guy that's been sent off unfairly.
As a manager, you have to then suddenly switch into what does the team need. When David got sent off, I remember thinking, we've still got a long way to go here. I still want Michael Owen and Alan Shearer on the pitch. I decided to let it go for 10 minutes. I said, let's see how we go with both of them on the pitch. So it was a risk. It was a risk.
You're down one of your resources, simple as that. So you want to try and maintain as much as possible your dominance of the game, recognise where you've been weakened and how best to overcome that.
It's an interesting one because I've played in teams where, like you say, where we've had a man sent off and it's galvanised us, because you know that you've got to work that little bit extra because you've lost a player.
The old cliche is it's always harder to beat 10 men. It's not, I don't think. Especially in a possession-based game, you have an advantage, they have a weakness, and in most situations, teams maximise it.
It's all over, and the final score tells its own story.
Statistically, there are two effects of red cards. You score fewer than you would otherwise do if you've had a red card, and you concede more than you would otherwise do if you had a red card, and the effect on conceding is actually bigger.
But what other impact did the red card have on the team in black? Our data shows each player had to work much harder, running an average of 117 metres per minute before the red card and 138 after. That's an 18% increase in effort.
If you're the team with the extra man, then almost invariably what you want to do is to stretch the play, to make the playing area as big as possible.
The black team's heat map is also highly revealing. Their attacking pattern before the red card was replaced with a defensive pattern afterwards, as they tried to hold on for a draw.
When you're playing against 10 men, the manager will often tell his team to be more disciplined, because eventually the other team will lose its shape, may become tired, or may be drawn out of the very defensive positions.
What we couldn't measure was the level of injustice the players felt, because the pain of a red card never really goes away.
I've only ever been sent off once. Yeah, Graham Poll sent me off when I was a kid at Leeds.
Oh, it would have been a player going clean through on goal and he brought him down, and I was right.
It was the 91st minute and I brought somebody down in the box and he deemed it a red card. So I still hold a grudge against him this day.
Paul Robinson, a nice man as well, but he was wrong.
So, what do our Unibet experts have to say about predicting outcomes when it comes to red cards?
After goals, red cards are the biggest game changer. A 22-year study into red cards in the Premier League came to a very clear conclusion. Teams who are reduced to 10 men score fewer goals than they are expected to and concede more than they are expected to. Of course, we all remember the matches where the 10 men beat the 11, but these are the exceptions rather than the rule.
It's also worth paying attention to the difference in red card frequency between Europe's top leagues. The variation is surprisingly wide, with more than twice the number of sendings off in the Liga than the Premier League.
The types of bets who are most affected could be the under bets. If you have a good striker who are sent off in one team, the team with 10 men will probably play very tactical, very defensive. So I think that red cards on strikers can affect the games to low-scoring games. The timing of a red card is very important. If it's happened in the first half, it's going to be very tiring for that team to play such a long time with only 10 men.
When the favorites, they're leading the game, get one man sent off, I will bet them to continue their lead or no more goals in the game, because they're happy with the result and they will not try to attack at all.
Red cards on defenders are of course important. The manager will make a substitution and put another defender in the pitch. So that can also affect the games in a more low-scoring games.
way, ref! Yes, he's giving me a red card. Cheers, mate. Yes! I think I think my guys have got this.
Come back. The power toe.
Oh my gosh! What are the chances of this? Oh yes! Ready? Yes!
Yes, guys.
Sorry.
Yes, guys.
Wait, sorry.
Yes, guys.
Wait, give me a second, Jess. Give me a pose. I'm saying sorry, you're going, yes, guys. Let me have one more.
Let's do it.
Give me one more.
What? Bring the camera over here. That's unbelievable.
Can I take this home with me, guys? Can I take this home? No way, ref. Jess, he's giving me a red card. Sort that out, mate.
Look out for more facts, stats and science as we prove that luck is no coincidence.